And then the gastroenterology, that had increased by 33%. There's some other features that I found was really, the encoder that we had at the time, you could pretty much click in and just hit all yeses for your POAs, and then if it was a no, you just clicked it off. It wasn't too time consuming, but I thought if the system automatically did it for me, that's just one less thing, again, the coding stuff has to do. And again, now over here, some of the encoders don't even give you that. Some of them you have to go in and click Y, no, E, yay, you know. So anything that will save you time as you get prepared over the next year or so, you know, keep that in mind as well. So your POAs and your hacks are automatically assigned. So that's definitely nice. And I talked about some of these already, so I'll just sort of skip. There is query function. Now, of course, like everybody, we had our own canned queries, but there was a whole function in the CAC, the ones that I looked at, where you could go ahead and you can do a whole query process right from the system. So you're not working out of different systems. If you have it right there, you could just click down, do it, send it off to the doc, or send it off to your clerical person and make sure it's attached to the chart. So that was definitely a piece that would definitely save time for you. E&M levels. Anybody in here do those? Assign those? We were assigning them as well as infusions and injections. Now, I did speak not too long ago, and the person said, oh, it automatically will pull. Again, do you have your start time? Do you have your end time? It's not going to just abstractly say, oh, this is the code you want on there. So you have to have the correct data. But it will assign your E&M codes. And it'll tell you directly how it got that. It gives you the breakdown of what resources were utilized. So that's definitely a time saver and almost another return on investment for you if you are assigning them. So keep that in mind as well. And professional fee. We weren't doing it, but I wanted to audit the people that were doing it. So that's the way we were. So I could just throw anything in there because it's the same data and just see if I came up with the same professional fee as what they did. Definitely reduce in denials and improve your CMI. Shorten your revenue cycle. Again, you're going to have some of those that consistently are coming back very quickly. So you got revenue coming back. So that was my big seller. The revenue coming back very quickly was how I got the line budgeted for. And then, of course, you're going to reduce your expenses while you simplify your workflow. I think that makes sense because anything you could do to improve your processes, that's what we're looking at, right? Everything in HIM, especially while you're dealing with, you know, meaningful use and CDI and, you know, everything else. We have core measures and all the changes that are coming all around us. Definitely anything you could do to simplify is good. So this basically was on beyond ICD-10, but let's be real, we know we're going to have it for I-10, or you should be looking at it. And honestly, I tell everybody at this point, I wouldn't be worried about the coders right now. I say engage your CDI teams and really focus on that clinical documentation. That's where everybody should be focused on right now. If a coder, I've talked to so many people where either they're really into it and they're already starting and they're doing their A&P and they're training coders via these different programs. And I'm like, oh, that's great. So what's your CDI team doing? You got them? Are you working with the docs? Are you doing this? And, you know, no. Well, if you don't have that documentation, you're not going to have the appropriate codes for either I-9 or I-10. So, you know, utilize your CDI team. That's why they're there, either for now and for as you prep for I-10. But it's funny, as I've been speaking in different states, either everybody's really gung-ho, or people are just sitting back, haven't done anything yet. That's sort of scary. Has everybody in here prepared, right? You're ready? Yeah, sort of, no, not real sure. But definitely you want to start working with your CDI specialist and really hone in on that. I got trained 3 years ago, and I could tell you I probably haven't really looked at it. I haven't needed to because we're so focused on all this other stuff that's going on and what we could do to support facilities. But So training the staff right now just doesn't, and we talk about this a lot at the state level because I'm on the ICD 10 task force for PA, and we talk about that all the time. When are we going to start training everybody? When are we going to start training everybody? But I saw you had a good I-10 program down here, which was excellent. I thought that was great. Starting to prepare them for at least, because I think coders still don't know, right? You coders, have you seen I-10 at all? Some? Yeah, you have? There's a no, I mean like actual I-10, like all right, who knows the code for hypertension? Oh, there you go, I-10. That's the only code I remember from my 3 days of training was the I-10. But yeah, definitely. So I just wanted to bring this up because we know today, and I think these numbers keep actually changing with how many codes are going to be for ICD-10. But we know what it's going to be next year, right? So definitely want to focus on really honing in on that documentation and then really preparing. And I could tell you most of the CACs right now will give you the I-9. If nothing else, will give you the I-9 and the I-10. So it's a visual things for coders too. If they at least see it, I think they could start relating. Even if you're not sitting down doing training day by day by day, if they're at least seeing it, I think that's definitely a positive. So on the CAC, that was one thing I did look at, is it had both, so which is good. And if I was in a facility right now, if I was doing anything, I think I would be doing dual coding, because I would really want to know reimbursement-wise, how is this going to affect us? Time-wise, how is this really going to affect me? Again, it's so different all across about how much productivity is going to actually be lost. I think a few years ago, AHIMA, when we first started talking about it, I think AHIMA was saying, what, 50%? Then at AHIMA last year, I think it was up to 65%. I mean, it's like all over the board. And then some people that have been doing dual coding, it's not that bad. So I don't know. I don't think anybody really knows. So I think if I was doing anything right now, I'd probably try to get a CAC in and then really focus on dual coding. I think that would be the best way to go, just to sort of see. And some places are doing that now. They want to see what their risks are, or what you don't have in documentation that you really need to focus on. We know we're going to have all that specificity. Is that in your ORs right now? Have your CDI team really working with that. That's what I would be doing, because you don't know what you don't know. So you're not sure what's not being addressed. So if you have the I-10 codes at least going on, you could see what's going to be kicking out or where you're going to have to really focus your efforts, right? I think that would make sense. So overall, I did get in the budget for the CAC, so all my hard work did pay off. Again, if you are thinking about a computer-assisted coding at all, make sure the journal has really, and I think this only started a couple years, I mean, I don't remember so much going on with the CAC, but I think now they're really trying to make sure they want to put out the information that it's doing whatever everybody has been saying it was to be doing, right? So I think all the data right now really proves its worth. So please make sure that you read the articles. The one on the Cleveland Clinic was really interesting. I found that. I'm still blown away that a coder recoded it differently 6 months later. I just don't know how you do that, but I think that was interesting. Huh? New documentation? You think? Well, that's true. That could be it. You're right. Yeah.
They could have picked up something they didn't know 6 months ago, but they know today.
That's true. That's true. I think I want to go back and do some code. I just want to do some and do them again in 6 months and see what it's. I think that'd be interesting. Anyways.